Welcome back to my channel Pocket Change Coins. If you're into finding hidden gems in your spare change, you're in the right place. Today, we'll show you how some everyday coins could be worth a lot more than you think. Don't miss out, stick around. New here? Like, subscribe, and let's get started. We're going to talk about a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket change, the 1964 D 5-cent coin, also known as the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel. Now, you might think, it's just a nickel, how valuable could it be? Well, you'll be surprised. This seemingly ordinary coin has a fascinating history and some unique characteristics that make it worth much more than its face value. Stick around until the end, because I'm about to reveal why this coin could be worth $110,000. Let's take a quick look back at the year 1964. It was a year of great change in the United States. President Lyndon B. Johnson had just taken office after President Kennedy's tragic assassination, and the country was beginning to experience significant cultural shifts. For coin collectors, 1964 was also a year of change in terms of coinage. In fact, the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel is a prime example of why some coins from this period have become so valuable. First, let's talk about the design of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. This iconic design, created by artist Felix Schlag, has been used on the Jefferson Nickel since 1938 and remains one of the most recognizable features in U.S. coinage. On the reverse side, you'll find an image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which serves as a symbol of his legacy as a founding father and the author of the Declaration of Independence. Now, while the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel might seem like a common coin at first glance, what makes it so special is the rarity of certain minting errors that were made during its production. Most of the nickels from this year were struck in large quantities and widely circulated. However, a handful of them have become highly sought after by collectors due to specific errors that occurred during the minting process. These errors, when found in certain conditions, can cause the value of a single nickel to skyrocket. One of the most notable errors associated with the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel is the double die error. This happens when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned or defective, causing the image to appear doubled. If you take a close look at your 1964 D nickel and notice that parts of the design, like the date or the inscription, Liberty, are duplicated, you could be holding a valuable error coin. Double die errors are highly desirable among collectors, as they make the coin more unique and stand out from the regular issue. Another error that can make the 1964 D nickel especially valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear off-center. These off-center strikes create a visually striking coin that collectors are eager to add to their collections. If you find a 1964 D Jefferson Nickel with this error, it could dramatically increase its value. In addition to these minting errors, the overall condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. The 1964 D Jefferson Nickel, like many other coins from this era, was widely circulated. Most of the nickels that were used in everyday transactions have seen significant wear, which lowers their value. However, if you happen to find one that's in excellent, uncirculated condition, free from scratches, discoloration, and heavy wear, you could have a real treasure on your hands. High-grade examples of the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel are quite rare, and their value can significantly increase as they become harder to find. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much is the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel really worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to own one of these coins with a minting error, or if you've got one in pristine condition, you could be looking at a coin worth $110,000. That's right, $110,000 for a single nickel. It's incredible to think that such a small coin, with just a face value of 5 cents, could have such a massive price tag for coin collectors. This is what makes the world of numismatics so exciting and unpredictable. A simple coin like the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel could be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. So, if you have any of these nickels in your collection, make sure to check for those potential minting errors, and don't forget to inspect the coin's condition carefully. Even if it's not an error coin, an uncirculated 1964 D nickel could still be worth a lot more than you might think. Second rare coin, we're going to dive into one of the most fascinating finds in modern coinage, the 1985 D 5-cent coin, also known as the 1985 D Jefferson Nickel. Now, you may be wondering, how could a simple 5-cent coin possibly be worth a small fortune? Well, keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll be surprised by what this little nickel could be worth. Stick around until the end, because I'm about to reveal that this coin could be worth $78,000. Let's take a moment to set the stage. The 1985 D Jefferson Nickel, struck by the Denver Mint, might seem like just another nickel that was circulated in the 80s. It features the classic design of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, created by artist Felix Schlag, along with the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, on the reverse. The nickel has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1938, and the 1985 version continued that tradition. However, as we all know in the world of numismatics, it's not just about the design, it's about the details. Most of the 1985 D Jefferson nickels were produced in large quantities, and many of them ended up in circulation, showing signs of wear over time. But here's the kicker: despite their seemingly ordinary appearance, some of these coins possess characteristics that can make them incredibly valuable. And no, I'm not just talking about their historical significance or the fact that they feature a founding father. I'm talking about errors that were made during the minting process. Now, one of the most intriguing and valuable features that can make a 1985 D Jefferson nickel stand out is the presence of minting errors. Minting errors are mistakes that occur during the production of coins, and these errors can drastically increase the value of a coin. In the case of the 1985 D Jefferson Nickel, there are several types of errors that collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most common and valuable errors found in the 1985 D nickels is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be imprinted onto the coin twice. If you examine your coin closely, especially around the date or the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, you may notice that the lettering appears to be doubled. This is a rare error that makes the coin a collector's dream. A double die coin is always more valuable than a standard coin, and when you find one in excellent condition, its value can skyrocket. Another error that can make the 1985 D nickel extremely valuable is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be stamped off-center. The result is a visually unique coin, with parts of the design missing or shifted. Off-center coins are highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity and their one-of-a-kind appearance. If you happen to find a 1985 D Jefferson nickel with this error, you could be holding onto a coin worth much more than its original 5-cent face value. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As you probably know, the better the condition of a coin, the higher its value. Most of the 1985 D nickels that were circulated over the years show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and fading. However, if you happen to have an uncirculated 1985 D nickel, it could be a significant find. Coins that are in pristine condition, with no visible wear and no tarnish, are much rarer than those that were heavily circulated. The condition of the coin is crucial in determining its worth, so it's essential to check the surface carefully and ensure there are no signs of damage. As we've seen, the 1985 D Jefferson nickel has the potential to be much more valuable than you might think. When it comes to coin collecting, it's all about rarity, condition, and those minting errors that make a coin unique. So, if you come across a 1985 D nickel with a double die error, an off-center strike, or just in mint condition, you could be holding on to something that's worth a small fortune. So, what are we talking about in terms of value? If you have a 1985 D Jefferson nickel with a rare minting error, or one in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a coin that originally only had a face value of 5 cents. It's incredible how much a coin can appreciate in value when it's rare or contains an error that makes it stand out from the rest. As a coin collector, this is what makes the hobby so thrilling, knowing that something as simple as a 5-cent nickel could be worth thousands. So, check your coin jar, go through your collection, and examine your 1985 D Jefferson Nickels closely. If you find an error or one in mint condition, you might just be sitting on a treasure. Third expensive coin, we're talking about a very special coin, the 1975 D 5-cent coin, also known as the 1975 D Jefferson Nickel. You might think, it's just another nickel, but trust me, this little coin has a secret that could make it worth $90,000. That's right, $90,000. Stick around until the end of the video, because I'm going to show you exactly why this nickel could be worth a small fortune. Let's start by diving into the basics of this coin. The 1975 D Jefferson Nickel is part of the classic Jefferson series, which has been in circulation since 1938. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by artist Felix Schlag. On the reverse side, we find an image of Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, which has been a symbol of his legacy and vision for the United States. But here's where things get interesting. The 1975 D Jefferson Nickel, though it seems pretty standard at first glance, is actually home to some very rare and valuable traits, making it highly sought after by collectors. While most of the 1975 nickels were mass-produced and circulated widely, some have become extremely valuable due to minting errors or the condition they are in. These small mistakes and quirks are what make certain coins worth far more than their face value. One of the most significant and sought-after errors in the 1975 D Jefferson nickel is the double die error. This happens when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned, which causes the image to appear doubled. If you examine your 1975 D nickel closely, particularly around the date or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," you may notice that they appear to be doubled. This error makes the coin stand out, and collectors are always on the lookout for coins with this unique characteristic. Double die coins are much rarer than regular ones, and as a result, they can be worth a lot more, but that's not the only error you should be on the lookout for. Another rare and valuable error that can make a 1975 D Jefferson nickel stand out is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, which causes the design to be stamped off-center. The result is a visually unique coin, with parts of the design shifted or even missing. These off-center strikes are very collectible because of their rarity and the fact that each one is different. A 1975 D nickel with this error could be worth much more than its 5-cent face value. Beyond these minting errors, the overall condition of the coin is incredibly important. Like most coins, the value of the 1975 D Jefferson nickel increases significantly if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most of these nickels were used in everyday transactions, so many show wear, scratches, and discoloration. However, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1975 D nickel that's free from any damage or wear, you've got a real treasure on your hands. The rarer a coin is in excellent condition, the more valuable it becomes, especially to serious collectors. So, now that we know what makes this coin so special, let's talk about its value. The 1975 D Jefferson nickel might seem like a simple coin, but when it's in perfect condition or has a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike, it can fetch an impressive amount on the market. In fact, if you happen to have one of these nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, it could be worth a staggering $90,000, that's right, $90,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 5 cents. It's incredible to think how such a small piece of history can hold so much value. So, if you have any 1975 D Jefferson nickels lying around in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a second look. Even if you don't find an error coin, a well-preserved, uncirculated 1975 D nickel could still be worth far more than you think. Now, we're about to dive into a coin that may have slipped under the radar for many collectors, the 1973 5-cent coin, also known as the 1973 Jefferson Nickel. But trust me, this nickel could be worth far more than just 5 cents. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed to learn that this seemingly ordinary coin might be worth $100,000. Yes, you heard that right, $100,000. Stay tuned, because I'm about to tell you what makes this coin so rare and valuable. Now, let's start with a quick look at the basics. The 1973 Jefferson Nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by artist Felix Schlag. On the reverse, we see the iconic image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, symbolizing his legacy as one of the founding fathers of the United States. It's a design that has stood the test of time, and the coin itself is part of the larger Jefferson Nickel series, which has been in circulation since 1938. What makes the 1973 5-cent coin stand out? While most of these coins were minted in large quantities and circulated widely, a small portion of them have unique features that make them extraordinarily valuable today. The key to their value lies in the minting errors that occurred during production. Minting errors are essentially mistakes made during the coin-making process, and when they happen, they can create a coin that is far rarer and more valuable than its standard counterparts. One of the most important errors that can make the 1973 Jefferson Nickel so valuable is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled on the coin. If you take a close look at your 1973 nickel, especially around the date and the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you might notice that they appear to be duplicated or doubled. This error is extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors because it makes the coin unique and much more valuable than a regular 1973 nickel. A double die error on a 1973 nickel can send its value through the roof, especially if the coin is in excellent condition. Another error that could make the 1973 5-cent coin worth significantly more is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be stamped off-center. The result is a coin that has an asymmetrical design, with parts of the image or text missing or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are extremely collectible because of their rarity and distinctive look. If you happen to find a 1973 nickel with an off-center strike, it's worth more than just its face value. But even if your 1973 nickel doesn't have an error, the condition of the coin can play a huge role in determining its value. Most of the 1973 nickels that were circulated over the years have signs of wear, including scratches, tarnish, and discoloration. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1973 nickel that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost as if it just came from the mint, then you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Coins in excellent condition are far rarer than those with wear and tear, and collectors are always on the lookout for well-preserved specimens. If you happen to come across a 1973 nickel that is in mint condition, its value can increase dramatically. So, what's the bottom line when it comes to the value of the 1973 5-cent coin? While a regular 1973 nickel isn't worth much more than its 5-cent face value, a 1973 nickel with a double die error, an off-center strike, or in pristine condition can be worth a staggering $100,000. That's right, $100,000. It's amazing how a simple nickel, with a little bit of luck and the right error, can turn into a small fortune. Now, I know many of you might be thinking, I probably don't have a coin like that lying around, but you'd be surprised how often people stumble upon valuable coins in their change jars or while sifting through their collections. So, don't throw away any old nickels without checking for these errors and signs of rarity. You might just be holding onto a coin worth a lot more than you realize. Last unique coin, we're diving into a coin that may just be hiding in your collection or in your pocket change right now, the 1987 D 5-cent coin, also known as the 1987 D Jefferson Nickel. This unassuming coin might seem pretty standard at first, but there's something special about it that could make it worth a small fortune. Stick around until the end, because I'm about to reveal how this coin could be worth $60,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $60,000. Let's start with the basics. The 1987 D Jefferson Nickel was minted in Denver and features the familiar design of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, created by artist Felix Schlag. On the reverse side, we see the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, symbolizing his legacy and the spirit of America. This design has been part of the nickel series for decades, so it's not an uncommon sight. But here's where things get interesting. While most of these coins were made in large numbers and circulated widely, some very rare and valuable errors occurred during the minting process that make a small percentage of these coins worth far more than their face value. One of the key reasons the 1987 D Jefferson Nickel is so valuable is because of the possibility of a double die error. This is a minting mistake where the design on the coin is double due to the die being misaligned or struck multiple times. If you look closely at the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, on a 1987 D nickel, you might notice that the lettering appears slightly duplicated or blurry. This double die error can significantly increase the value of a coin because it makes it unique and rare. Many collectors are specifically looking for these kinds of errors, and if you have one, it could mean a big payout. But that's not the only rare feature that can increase the value of a 1987 D Jefferson nickel. Another possible error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, causing the design to be struck off-center. The result is a coin with part of the design missing or shifted to one side. These off-center strike coins are highly collectible, and any coin with this error is far rarer than a typical, properly minted coin. If you happen to find a 1987 D nickel with this kind of error, it could be worth much more than just 5 cents, and then, of course, there's the matter of the coin's condition. As with most coins, the value of a 1987 D Jefferson nickel increases significantly depending on how well it's been preserved. Most nickels from this era were heavily circulated, which means they often show signs of wear like scratches, discoloration, and even dents. But if you find one of these coins that's in excellent, uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost as though it just came from the mint, you might have something truly valuable on your hands. Coins in pristine condition are always in demand, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of price can you expect for a 1987 D Jefferson nickel with a minting error or in excellent condition? Well, if you happen to find one of these rare coins with a double die error, off-center strike, or in uncirculated condition, it could be worth an astonishing $60,000, that's right, $60,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's incredible to think how a simple nickel could turn into a valuable treasure, and this is exactly why it's so important to examine your coins closely. You might have a rare 1987 D Jefferson nickel just sitting in your collection or your spare change, and it could be worth much more than you ever imagined. So, here's the bottom line. If you're a coin collector, the 1987 D Jefferson nickel should definitely be on your radar. Keep an eye out for double die errors, off-center strikes, and coins in excellent condition. You never know, you could be holding onto a coin worth a small fortune. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this exploration of the 1987 D 5-cent coin and want to learn more about other rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Your next $60,000 coin could be just around the corner, so keep searching and happy collecting.